On coasts and beaches across the world, predator and prey clash in savage battles of survival. But what happens when these ruthless killers turn against each other? Animals fight tooth and claw against their own kin to win food, territory, and rights to the bloodline. In the wild, there are no rules. This is Animal Fight Club. To survive on the cold coasts of the Arctic, you've got to be tough. And if you want to fight here, you've got to be even tougher. Cue the polar bear, the largest predator on dry land. Twice as heavy as a grizzly, they're built like no other. With muscles capable of lifting 90 kilograms with ease, they'll take down anything that crosses their path, including each other. And when there's a girl involved, the stakes are high. They go head-to-head in a game of last bear standing. Fights are short, but injuries are heavy. Their sheer power can break bones with ease, and gaping wounds can end a bear's mating season, and often, its life. Early summer. This teenage bear has traveled over 100 kilometers. He's on the hunt. Not for food. Instead, the girl of his dreams. She's close. He can smell her scent. By the morning, he finally spots his fair-furred maiden. But a rival suitor's already staked his claim. So it's time for this team to turn around and fight. This may be his only chance to mate this year. Game on. On two legs, the rivals use size to intimidate. But neither backs down. The team rises as tall as a basketball hoop, and push comes to shove. Both bears are matched for strength and size. So if the sweet teen wants to win the girl, he'll have to do some serious damage. Their necks are longer than other bears. It's an easy target. Lying inches from the surface, the rival has muscles crucial for swimming and hunting. When you take out the neck, you take out the bear. This time, the rival dodges the attack. Such quick-fire combat is taxing for these bulky animals. On the floor, the novice teen fighter is tiring. Polar bears drain energy twice as quick as other animals. But he recovers, and they both land solid bites on each other's necks. Their hooked canines are the length of human thumbs and can slash through thick flesh. Huge jaw muscles give a bite force the equivalent of being crushed by a grand piano. Finally, our teenage bear seizes his moment. He delivers a damaging bite. His rival backs away. A further injury could mean he'll never hunt or swim again. The young victor wins the heart of his princess. But it's a whirlwind romance. he'll spend only a week with her before he's off to do it all again. From the frozen ice shelves of the Arctic to the sizzling coasts of Indonesia, home turf to the gnarliest fighters of Animal Fight Club. Komodo dragons. Weighing in at nearly twice the weight of your kitchen fridge, they're the biggest lizards in the world. A deadly combination of lethal weapons and toxic saliva is key to their killing prowess. Just a single venomous bite is enough to take down prey 4 times their size, killing them from the inside out. Komodos may be solitary hunters, but they're communal eaters. The dinner table's the perfect place to pick a fight and establish who's boss in this Komodo kingdom. Here on Komodo Island, this head honcho reigns supreme. He lives a dragon's dream. He gets the most girls, the most food, and the most respect on these coasts. To mount a serious title challenge, younger Komodos must be in their fighting prime. Confront the honcho when you're not, and you'll be savagely eaten up. 1/10 of his diet is smaller, weaker Komodos. But today's young challenger has bided his time. He now weighs in with the honcho. The Komodo Kid is ready to tip the hierarchy upside down. The fight is on. First to get pinned down, loses. The kid's got some great technique. He slams his opponent to the ground with a well-executed smackdown. But the head honcho knows how to hit back even harder. He'll fight dirty, and he's well equipped for the job. Like the tips of steak knives, each of his 60 teeth are dangerously curved and serrated. They're also entirely disposable. Komodos replace up to 200 teeth a year. Luckily for the kid, Komodos are immune to their own venomous bites. But it doesn't mean they don't hurt. Fighting through the pain, he takes a last-ditch swipe at the honcho. But his claws make no mark on scales which are reinforced with dense bone. The kid's no match for his fearsome rival. Too bloody to continue, he submits to the pin. The head honcho's shown why he's the boss around here. On Komodo Island, you should never punch above your weight. When winter comes, our next contenders have no problem reaching required weight. Thousands of elephant seals take over beaches across the world. Every plot of oceanside property is controlled by a beachmaster and his harem of up to 200 females. Larger and heavier than an average American car, beachmasters are formidable fighters, and they have to be. Twice an hour, every day, young males challenge the beachmaster for control of his females. Males here don't eat or drink for over 4 months. Just relentless fighting for a chance to mate. But 99% of bulls will fail to pass on their genes. leaving a lot of lonely bachelors to sunbathe solo. Here on the shores of South Georgia Island, the Beachmaster on the right accepts a challenge from a rival. But an impatient young punk cuts in. He's determined to seize control of the harem right here, right now. He backs the Beachmaster into the surf. It's his big chance to take the beach and take the girls. Their bodies are prepped for battle. 15 times more testosterone than normal is pumping through their blood. The punk delivers the opening hit. In elephant seal bouts, tactics are simple. Slam down teeth first and cause maximum damage quicker than your opponent. In fights like these, 60% of alpha bulls lose control of their harem every winter. But it's not just females that are at stake. Necks can be hacked open and faces torn to shreds. The loser may not return to shore alive. A massive blow from the Beachmaster forces a timeout. But seconds later, the young punk drags the old champ back into the ring. The bloody Beachmaster tries to slice his opponent's neck, but it doesn't faze the young punk. Exhausted, the old champ is now in serious trouble. Out of nowhere, he digs deep and unleashes a fight-ending smackdown. The punk has been pulverized. He won't be Beachmaster this season. His wounds are so severe, they're unlikely to ever heal. He may not last the winter. The Beachmaster retains his title as reigning champion of the South Georgia beaches. With a deafening roar of victory, the old champ humiliates his opponent one last time. Some coastal creatures go to great lengths to find love, but none as extreme as the mud skipper. These strange-looking fish leave the watery comforts of the ocean and brave a brand new, dry world, all to find a mate on the mudflats. This little skipper's a slimy bundle of nerves. It's his first time on the dating scene. He may be small, but for skippers, size isn't everything. A girl really wants a guy with a perfect home on prime real estate. A burrow close to the tide and built in soft mud. It's somewhere to raise a family, keep cool, and hide from predators. The novice dater's got the perfect patch, so surely he'll find the perfect match. Finally, a little skip to lure the ladies in. Not so fast. The big daddy of these mudflats is watching. No first-timer is going to build a swanky love bunker on his patch. So he dares the little novice to a bout for the burrow. The novice flees, but the big daddy gives him no choice but to fight. First, they flaunt their fangs. It's a display of intimidation. Mud skippers have spine-like teeth embedded into their skull. They're tiny, but for a rival mud skipper, they're terrifying. They're both too mouthy to back down. The big daddy chances a few cheap bites. But the novice has built-in protection. The skin on his head and upper body are extra thick and resistant to puncture. Using two special types of fin, these weird fish can skip about on land with ease. Their pelvic fin is stiff and strong, used to jack themselves up off the ground. And their front fins have makeshift elbows, allowing them to propel themselves across the mud. Great when you're on the attack. But they also have an acrobatic way of escaping rivals. They curl up tight and slap their tail hard against the mud, catapulting themselves 60 centimeters into the air and out of the way. You can skip, but you can't hide. It all gets too much for the little novice. Time to get out of here. Pronto. There's always next year. Or maybe not. High in the Malaysian skies, this pair of sea eagles reigns over their empire, an area the size of Paris. This prime location has served them well for over a decade. Here they raise their young and capitalize on rich hunting grounds. With a wingspan reaching over 2 meters, but weighing only 3 kilograms, a wedged tail for steering and balance, and 8 needle-pointed talons for piercing flesh, prey stand no chance. Sea eagles are designed for the hunt, but they're also perfectly engineered for air-to-air battle. This eagle husband and wife team are under attack. A maverick intruder wants to conquer their precious dominion. He starts to ransack the family's feeding grounds. War is declared. But traditional roles are reversed. Females can be up to 50% larger than males, so dad stays on the home front, while mom earns her stripes in an aerial dogfight to the death. The young mom and intruder clash mid-air. Talon to talon, they plummet toward Earth as they spin through the skies. It's a combat style called whirling, and it only ends when the contenders hit the ground dead or alive. Their talons lock in battle. Tendons in their feet form a ratchet mechanism, creating an immense grip which can be held for hours, something plain muscles just can't do. Let go and lose. Who dares wins. They'll spin up to 5,000 degrees as they continue to lose altitude fast. Dad and kids can only look on, fearing the worst for mom. She could be mangled and dying on the jungle floor. Suddenly, she emerges, unharmed. Her empire and her family are safe once again. From lightweights in the sky to super heavyweights in the water, walruses rule in a weight class of their own. They dive 100 meters deep into the frozen seas, withstand temperatures plummeting to as low as minus 35 degrees Celsius, and they're tooled up to the teeth. Their tusks grow longer than baseball bats, and made of solid ivory, they can slice through 20 centimeters of ice. They look tough and fight rough. When the ice floes melt, females migrate north to nurse their young. For the males, it's time to haul out and relax in the Arctic sunshine. Here at Bristol Bay in Alaska, the resident beach bums enjoy peace in perfect conditions. But there's trouble in these waters. A herd of latecomers want in on the beach party. They've already spent 2/3 of the year at sea. With nowhere else to go, hauling out has become a matter of life and death. But this rock beach is full to the brim. If the latecomers want to patch a beach, they'll need to oust the resident bathers. So they start to psych out their rivals on land, throwing their gigantic tusks into the air. The beach bums stand their ground. They can't risk losing their residents for the summer. Now it's a battle on the beach. The invaders make a beeline for the back of the beach, where there's smooth rock, great sun, and most importantly, protection from predators. But they're stopped in their tracks. Outnumbered, the resident beach bums struggle to keep the determined invaders at bay. The latecomers jab and stab their way to the back of the beach. The biggest invaders with the longest tusks win the prized spots. This huge latecomer has battled through to a prime position, while others count the costs. As for the losers, they'll have to bully their way onto another beach before summer's over. Here on the Galapagos Islands, Nazca boobies take Animal Fight Club to its most primal. But it's the newborn chicks who have to fight the hardest to survive. All kids squabble for mom's attention. But it's more than just affection that rides on this fight. Mom can only feed one of her children. And it's down to the kids to duke it out and decide who gets fed. This firstborn booby chick awaits the arrival of his brother, a sworn enemy born straight into the wrestling ring. The brothers are only a few days old when they begin the fight of their life. The odds quickly stack up against the little brother. The weight advantage is with his older sibling. As they start to wrestle, their little bodies react on cue. Abnormally high levels of testosterone are produced, making them extra aggressive for the contest to come. The younger chick produces a third more than his older brother. He stands a fighting chance. Neither chick can afford to get jostled out of the ring. Their lives depend on it. Get shoved out, and mom won't pull you back in. The little brother stays defiant and stumbles back to the nest, only to be met with a second round. A few nips to the neck are enough to weaken his brother. Once again, the little one is muscled out, despite his desperate pleas. Too weak to fight back again, it's game over. For the winner, all the love in the world. His victory may be a selfish one, but this is what it takes to join Animal Fight Club. Down below the waves of the Pacific Ocean live blennyfish, the resident cuties of the ocean floor. Dainty, mild-mannered, and timid. But meet the black sheep of the family. The sarcastic fringehead. Cuties, they are not. They open their jaws wide to bear an arsenal of thorn-like teeth, which aren't for empty threats. This old crank may be the size of a human forearm, but he knows how to pack a punch. He'll take on anything that swims onto his property, whatever shape or size. So what happens when an equally grouchy fringehead moves in next door? A turf war on the ocean floor. The old crank starts his eviction campaign using some brute force. But the pesky neighbor won't give up his home that easily. So the crank turns to bully tactics. The neighbor finally cracks. He's not going to stand for such low-life behavior. The fringeheads go cheek to cheek in the world's most ferocious make-out session. But there's no kissing here. They interlock teeth as they shove each other over and over again. It's an ultimate contest of aggression and authority. But then, the old crank bites. The neighbor returns fire, sinking his teeth into his rival even harder. This fringehead's not budging. After a dogged 20 minutes, there's still no sign of resolution. Being neighbors might be way too close for comfort, but it looks like they'll just have to grin and bear it. Down under, Fight Club has a contender that's amped up and angry all day, every day. Tasmanian devils live a life of hellish greed and aggression. Even kangaroos, over 3 times their size, steer clear. Competition among devils is fierce. 3/4 of the young never make it to adulthood because they're never more than a meal away from a life-threatening fight. In the coastal forests of Tasmania, it's every devil for himself. This morning, there's fresh meat in the air, and this hungry devil can smell it. There's no time to waste. Tasmanian devils have a near insatiable appetite. Others have gotten to the meat first, so he muscles his way in. The hungry latecomer tries to steal a bite from a rival. This won't be tolerated. The hungry devil knows he's in trouble. He's weaker than his rival. He turns on his heels and makes a run for it. But his adversary is in hot pursuit. For the rival, it's the perfect chance to eliminate future competition now. With vicious bites straight to the face. The rival has the hungry devil in a vice-like grip, just where he wants him. He pins his opponent to the ground and goes in for a final strike. But the hungry devil snatches a lucky escape and runs for his life. He won't be coming back around here anytime soon. And next time, he'll wait in line for his lunch. In the dark waters off the Mexican coast, strange creatures take food fights to a whole new level. A cartel of Humboldt squid are on the hunt for a midnight snack. Humboldts live for only a single year, growing from a tiny egg to the size of a man. To fuel this insane growth, they eat almost anything, including each other. Tonight, this Humboldt has one of his own on the menu. The chase is on. He can hit speeds up to 24 kilometers per hour using a perfectly tuned turbo system. He draws water into his body, then violently spits it back out, thrusting him through the water like a torpedo. The cannibal uses his front-line weapons: 8 elastic arms and 2 lightning-quick tentacles. It only takes 20 milliseconds to land a deadly strike. He plants 2,000 suction cups on his victim. Each cup armed with 36 barbed hooks, piercing flesh and locking on with a vice-like grip. But at the center, the most formidable weapon, a razor-sharp beak. Made from one of the hardest and stiffest materials found in nature, it can rip through Kevlar and steel. But tonight's dinner won't go down without a fight. He blasts his frenzied attacker with a torrent of toxic ink. It contains enzymes designed to throw the enemy completely off his senses. It works, for now. Clouded and confused, the crazed cannibal lets go. But he finds his bearings and locks on again, forcing his victim into a spin. Resistance is futile. The crazed cannibal drags the victim away to a quiet corner of the ocean. Now, he's just a well-earned meal. Penguins, the lovable little rascals of the animal world. 17 species, big and small, covering coasts across the southern hemisphere. They may look friendly, but in Animal Fight Club, the gloves are off. When you live in colonies that can number into the millions, keeping your cool ain't easy. It's not uncommon for 40 penguins to squeeze into an area the size of a ping pong table. So if you want personal space, you gotta fight for it. Antarctica's Adelie penguins. These highly protective parents will go to the ends of the ice for their own chicks. On the beach, a muddy-chested mother can't spot her chick in the sea of black and white. She makes the mistake of trampling through another's nest. Being flightless, penguins use their flat, bony flippers for 2 things only: swimming and slapping. The fighting frenzy crashes into another parent's nest, creating even more havoc. Penguins drag their rivals into slapping distance by pecking at their head and yanking them in closer. But this mom can't be starting any more fights. She's got a chick to retrieve before it's too late. She arrives in the nick of time and fights off her chick's bullies once and for all. Finally safe and sound, he won't be leaving Mom's side anytime soon. Here, among the Galapagos volcanoes, a fighter that never relies on violence to settle its scores. Well, almost never. Marine iguanas live a tranquil life in the crystal blue waters of the Pacific. But come mating season in January, the harmony quickly dissolves. They come ashore to shotgun territories. To have a crib on the lava crust is to have any chance of attracting a mate. Boundary disputes become an everyday hazard. To fight, these cold-blooded contenders must first raise their heartbeats by warming up in the sun. And when they start to headbang, it means they're fired up and ready to rumble. Here on Bartolome Island, it's crunch time for these two iguanas. On our right, a hotshot male desperately trying to defend his digs on the lava rock. On the left, a ballsy challenger vying to steal the hot property. First to get shoved into the sea, loses. Made of the same material as bison's horns, an iguana's head scales are the toughest part of the body. Perfect when ramming your way to victory. As the surf comes in, marine iguanas get a grip. Their claws, sharper, stronger, and longer than those of other iguanas, are specially designed to cling onto wet, slippery rock. They both stop. Marine iguanas may have the will to fight, but they don't have the stamina. They can only fight for a few minutes before needing a rest. Without warning, the ballsy challenger swings his head and throws his rival off balance. The hot shot hits the waves. His tendency on the rocks is up. Victorious, the invader trials his new position of dominance with another round of headbanging. There's no reply. The crib on the coast is now his to lose. Across the Pacific Ocean is a predator that has no qualms about killing. Sand tiger sharks. Slaying is second nature because they're born ruthless killers. Still in the womb, this 4-week-old pup is barely 13 centimeters long. But he already has the tools to kill. And he doesn't even wait until he's born to use them. Because once the food in his yolk sac runs dry, he must find a new source of nutrition. So he turns on his own brothers and sisters. It's every pup for itself. As the oldest, He has the most developed weapons, so the younger siblings have little chance. And the even younger siblings, still in their yolk sacs, have even less. Kill, then eat. Standard protocol for sharks, no matter how old. Biologists have captured footage of this big brother feeding on his kills. And he's not finished there. He moves on to mom's relentless supply of unfertilized eggs. He'll eat 170 of them a day. This will go on for another 11 months, when he'll be unleashed into the seas, a genuine natural-born killer. Katmai, Alaska, aka Beartown. There are more brown bears here than anywhere else in the world. These grizzlies are 3 times heavier than their inland cousins. Standing, they reach 3 meters tall. 5 times stronger than a human. They pack a punch that could kill a cow. In this lawless land, a dominant bear hierarchy sets the rules. Lines are drawn in the sand. Each bear knows his patch of river. Every day, he'll haul out 75,000 calories of fish to survive. Step into another's established fishing ground, and you're asking for a fight. An outsider has arrived, intent on looting the river's riches. He has the tools to kill, and no respect for the rules here. The resident sheriff spots him. He doesn't stand for salmon stealers. He forces him back, out of his territory. But the outlaw soon spots a new opportunity. He launches a daring ambush on an unsuspecting local. He wants the fish. He rips at his opponent's ear. A bear's bite is 3 times the power of a human's, but a bear's skin is up to 20 times thicker. The victim isn't going down without a fight. The raider tries to shift his weight onto his hind legs to gain the height advantage. But the local delivers a punishing smackdown. And heads home with his fish. The outlaw needs to find his own food if he's to fish and fight another day.